Saturday, September 9th, come help ignite the light with the National Parks Band as they perform a free concert at the Cache County Fairgrounds, bringing positive support to suicide prevention. Education booths, food trucks, speakers, family fun, and an amazing free concert by the National Parks Band. This wonderful event is free, bringing attention to suicide prevention and the hundreds of people that work on the front lines for our communities. If you think you might need help or you just want to talk to someone, call the National Hotline 988 and please come to this Saturday's event. Search Ignite the Light for concert details and donation information. The outpouring of support for this event is unbelievable. Businesses and individual donations are making this event possible. Join the festivities at the Cache County Fairgrounds Saturday, September 9th for a free concert and other events bringing attention and positive support to suicide prevention. Search Ignite the Light for concert and event details. Thank you, Cache Valley, for making this event possible. Remember, that National Suicide Hotline number is 988.
Monster Trucks Nitro Tour will invade the Cache County Fairgrounds with two big shows September 16th. Monster Trucks Freestyle Motocross and Jet Ambulance Meltdown. Plus all new Inflection Buster prices. VIP tickets includes a pit party pass and the best seat. Get tickets at monstertrucktour.com or get them at the gate. Subject to service fees. For more info, go to monstertrucktour.com. Ride in a real monster truck. Kids get a free tour gift at the Saturday matinee show while supplies last. September 16th at the Cache County Fairgrounds.
This is Jay with Daryl's Appliance in beautiful downtown Benson. This Labor Day, we have extra savings on Maytag, Whirlpool, GE, and more. Plus, mail-in rebates and interest-free financing going on. Until September 13th, save an extra $50 on a scratch and dent dryer when you buy a washer. Our scratch and dent appliances are tested by our factory-trained technicians before they are sold, and you get Daryl's exclusive 2-year parts and labor warranty. Your Daryl's purchase is always backed by our service and warranty team. Daryl's West on Airport Road.
United States Deputy Sheriff's Association is a national nonprofit and America's largest non-governmental provider of services to law enforcement. USDSA assists city, county, state, and federal law enforcement agencies through our many varied programs, including free safety equipment donations, free officer survival training, cash donations, and condolence letters to the family of law enforcement officers who perished in the line of duty. USDSA also offers college scholarships for the dependent children of law enforcement, along with a citizen awareness program and thank you cards to law enforcement. These are just some of the ways United States Deputy Sheriff's Association assists America's law enforcement and the citizens they serve. For more information about United States Deputy Sheriff's Association or to see how you can help, visit www.usdeputy.org. United States Deputy Sheriff's Association, taking training to the next level because lives are on the line.
News Talk 610 AM, 102.1 FM, KVNU.
It's time for the Garden Guide with your host, Mark Anderson from Anderson Seed and Garden.
New research suggests that people are more likely to eat vegetables if they have a tempting name.
What would life be without homegrown tomatoes? Only two things that money can't buy, and that's true love and homegrown tomatoes.
From gardening to landscaping.
Today we are going to try and create garden eyebrows. Kind of like the flowers are sprouting directly from your hair. That makes sense.
Go! Phone lines are open at 753-KVNU or 800-369-KVNU.
Kind of like eating vegetables.
It's the Garden Guide, now on KVNU 610 AM and 102 FM.
And we welcome you to the show on a beautiful Saturday morning as we are, it's going to be just a gorgeous weekend. Mark Anderson here from Anderson Seed and Garden joining us in the studio. I'm Will Feelwright, and a lot to talk about this morning, Mark, because, it seems like Mother Nature, if it's not one thing, it's another.
We cannot predict reasonably what Mother Nature is going to do, especially this year.
I don't think we can even predict unreasonably because we've seen everything this year.
A little bit of everything. It is not unusual for us to get hail in September. Mm-hmm. That kind of happens because you get those thunder showers that come through and those cold fronts and they slam into the mountains, and as they go up you get the hail, and it just happens. But marble-sized hail is not my favorite.
And falling for that long.
Oh, yeah,
like it did.
Yeah. So my corn was so close to being ready. We're just ready to pick it. So since Sunday when we had the hail. We have picked corn, and it's been amazing. It's been so good. But it looks like Freddy Krueger and Edward Scissorhands had a party in my cornfield.
Yeah.
Like, it's shredded to ribbons.
Yeah.
Like, the leaves were, like, honestly, 4 inches across on some of the leaves on the corn, and now they're like curling ribbon is what it looks like.
Squash plants look like they got shot
Gone.
with shotguns.
Yeah. There's just vines on the ground and no leaves left on them. It's like not a single leaf left on them. And my poor tomato plants were just loaded with tomatoes, and everything on the top, top foot of the plant is just beaten up and split open and sad. And my cantaloupes took a romping too, and
just really brutal.
Really did a lot of damage. Yeah, I mean we've had hail before, and hail will definitely do some damage, but nothing like that. I mean, it was easily marble sized, somewhere like nickel sized.
The crazy part about it is it depended upon where you were.
Yeah.
Because down in the valley here, we got some of the hail, but it
wasn't
really
the size.
It
wasn't the size, and it wasn't as hard and
as long.
Yeah, so if you're closer to the mountains in the valley, then as the clouds had to climb, then it got colder, and it just kept picking that up and like putting new layers on, and then it finally would fall and. Yeah, just really shredded. So my giant pumpkins that are probably well over 100 pounds, maybe getting close to 150 pounds, they have little pock marks all over them now. And we harvested cucumbers this week, and they had bruises. I mean, they literally had bruises all over them, so you had to peel that off. And my poor tomatoes are just really looking sad. But
it was quite the storm. And now,
how much water did we get out of the rain?
Altogether, almost an inch. And there were some areas that got a lot more than that.
And that's for like the first 3 days of September. So that's like our whole month's worth almost
falling in 2 days.
In 2 days, yeah. So that's not too bad. I'm sure we're going to get some more rain this month. Mm-hmm. So we should have a really plentiful last month of the water year.
And with the rain, of course, if your plants did make it through the hailstorm, we are still dealing with some mildew issues. Of course, we're still dealing with... Unfortunately, the hail couldn't take out the grasshoppers.
I know. It's like, what the heck happened?
Nice.
And it didn't take out the raccoons, because 2 nights ago we had raccoons in the corn patch. So we'll talk about how to control raccoons as well too. So we got to talk raccoons on the show. Bulbs are coming in. So we've got tulip, daffodil, hyacinth bulbs are coming in next week. We've got garlic in stock. So great time to talk about those. Some great events happening downtown. So we've got the Marathon and the Latino Festival next week, and we also have the Giant Pumpkin Festival coming up in 2 weeks. So a lot of fun things happening downtown. Flowers are looking great down there. Fortunately, we didn't have hail on Center Street.
That it took out the flower beds.
We were out of town, and we heard about the hail, and I just didn't want to look at my garden. But then I also didn't want to drive down Center Street and see all the flowers all shredded. But you know what? They look good. Yeah, they look really good. So we'll get another month or more out of the beautiful flowers downtown. So that was a slight bonus that came along with the storm.
And some excitement, should mention this morning, just outside of downtown Logan this morning, because Lodija took off this morning.
Yeah, and that's such a great event. But they kind of come and go, and you don't even know that they're there.
Yeah, take off at 5:30 in the morning.
Yeah, it's like the invisible race that is huge. Yeah. And you don't really feel the impact unless you're trying to get a hotel room.
Yeah. Or if you're trying to drive up Immigration Canyon or maybe above Montpelier, you'll see them there.
You can see that happening, but it's the greatest event that you didn't know is going on.
Yeah.
Yeah, if you're not participating. So
5:30 this morning they were off, and so good luck to the runners. Watch out for them along the roads.
Yeah.
And so I guess we should start off with in the event that you did have a lot of damage in your garden.
Yeah.
Is there anything you can do at this point? Do you just kind of try to salvage what you can?
Yeah, there's really not a lot you can do, because Mother Nature we don't have control over that. And of course, my tomato plants took a big beating. I'm going to pick all the fruit off that has been damaged, because it's not going to miraculously come back, and we don't want it to just kind of take strength away from the plants. One thing good that it did do on the tomatoes, though, is it took a lot of that excess foliage off the plants. So now the sun is getting into the fruit and it's ripening up faster. So even though we're getting cooler temperatures at night, the fruit's ripening really quickly because it's got more sun exposure, and so the fruit is ripening up. If you're in a higher elevation and it's really starting to get cool at night, you can start covering the plants during the day so that they will hold the heat longer at night. So we'll cover the plants from the middle part of September till the first part of October with a frost cloth during the late afternoon, early evening. And what it will do is it will generate enough heat underneath the cloth, then it will retain that heat through the night. It'll get your fruit to ripen up faster.
Okay.
So if you got a lot of green tomatoes, don't worry. Just start covering them in the early to late afternoon, and then let it just generate that heat. It will retain that extra heat through the night, and that's what you need to get the fruit to ripen up. We need that warm nighttime temperature. I mean, because today, it's going to be low 80s, mid 80s, which is great daytime temperatures for the garden. But at night, we're getting down into the 50s, and that slows the ripening process down. So whatever you can do to retain that heat longer through the night is going to help your fruit ripen up, and you'll have a much better harvest of fewer green tomatoes in October when the time comes.
Okay.
Yes, that should really help. Squashes and cucumbers and melons and pumpkins. I'm not going to harvest my fruit. I'm just going to let it sit out there because the vines are still alive and look really pretty good. It just shredded 90% of the leaves are gone. So it's hard for the plants to generate a lot of strength off of that, but they are picking up a lot of nutrient and a lot of water through the soil, and so that's still going to translate over to the fruit. And so I'm not going to pick mine, even though my poor plants just look pathetic. Yeah, and fortunately it didn't do any damage to the corn. There's some corn cobs that were up really high on the stalks that were exposed to it, kind of got pounded on the top, but the rest of them they're fine.
Protected.
Yeah, they're fine, but lots of corn earworms.
We started harvesting our corn this week, and a lot of worms, but really
so
good.
The corn's really good. So usually by this time of year, the corn earworms have come and gone. But this year, since our insect cycles are so late, it has really pushed them back a little bit. So I did not treat for corn earworms, and I'm pretty sure that's why we've got a lot in our corn. I have not had a problem in the last few years, but I haven't put my repellent on for a month either, so it's kind of my own fault. Yeah, because the repellent usually keeps the moths away so they don't come in and lay their eggs, but I didn't put one on in August, so
you're
just I'll take the blame for that. Yeah, I'll take the blame.
That was the same for us. I finally just got down to spraying our corn a couple weeks ago, but they had already done their damage.
And there's some really great
inside.
options for controlling the corn earworms that you can use right up to the day you're going to harvest, if necessary, like the spinosad or the spinosad soap. Very effective on the larva of the corn earworm. And so those moths come in, lay their eggs right on the silks of the corn, not on the tassels, on the silks. And then as the larvae hatch out, they'll follow the silks right into the ear of the corn. So they'll just land on a silk, lay the egg right there. Egg hatches. The larva just kind of takes that silk and just follows it right back into the ear, and then they start nibbling on the corn. And so if that happens and they're inside, you can't really do anything about it because you can't get the spray.
They're protected.
Yeah, you can't get the spray inside there, so you have to prevent. And the spinosad you can use every day if you needed to, but really it's going to last about a week or 10 days, and any larvae that hatch out that come in contact with it, it'll kill them before they get into the ear of corn. And so very, very safe, very effective way to control the corn earworms. You just got to make sure and spray right when they start to silk.
Okay.
And then usually about a week after that, and then a week or so after that, you're picking the corn and it's fine. Clean. Yeah, it's clean and nice. So,
all right.
Yeah, not too bad.
Well, fortunate for us, our beans survived, but we've been harvesting beans this week, bottling beans like crazy.
Beans have been so great this year. They have just really produced huge amounts.
It took us because we had a muskrat come into our garden that just ate the tops of our beans off.
Yeah,
right as they were coming up the first time. So we replanted.
Rude.
And the muskrat was like, "Hey, thanks. Here comes my seconds."
Second crop. Yeah.
He came out the second time, but by the third planting, we'd finally got rid of him. And beans came up, so they were quite late in the season. But now they are producing like crazy.
Cool. That's what you like to hear. And people who, gardeners who planted pole beans, they have been going like crazy for the last couple weeks, and they will continue to go until it freezes. And that first frost for fall could be the first week of October, second week of October, could be the last week of September, so kind of in that range between the 20th, 25th of September and the 10th or 15th of October is kind of normal for our first frost for the fall. But until then, we can enjoy the dahlias, we can enjoy all the annual flowers, we can have the beans keep going, our zucchinis can still keep going. I didn't even look at my zucchinis to see what they look like after the hail, so...
I think the leaves are...
I know there's no blossoms left.
Probably hit, yeah. A lot of damage from that storm.
No blossoms left, but did pick corn. The corn was amazing. We had some last night for dinner, and the raccoons decided it was a good time to get into the corn too. So I've got a live trap set up for the raccoons. That works quite nicely. And so best baits for the raccoons would be fresh fruits of any kind.
Okay.
They like fresh fruits. So bananas, if you got some bananas that are kind of starting to turn brown and you don't want to eat them, don't throw them away. Out in the garden, out in the trap. So live trap will not hurt the raccoons. We can catch them live and then transport them somewhere else. Animal control usually will take them. Relocate them. But they can do so much damage. I mean, one raccoon will eat 10 or 12 cobs of corn, and so if you get 10 raccoons in there, they'll eat 100 cobs of corn in one night, and so they really do a lot of damage. So live trap works great for those. If you don't have a live trap, sometimes just even putting a radio out there so there's noise. And you just set the radio. So just so that they think there's activity going on in there. It won't work over and over and over because they'll keep checking every night. And if they hear the same conversation going on, they're pretty smart, and they will finally figure it out and come back in there. Or motion sensitive light that just kicks on. Yeah. And that will work for a couple nights until they realize that there's really nobody out there, and then they'll still come back and eat the corn. So you can try some different things like that. I've had multiple homeowners that have used electric fence. Set the electric fence at 8 or 10 inches off the ground and just electrify it at night to keep them out. And that actually works really pretty well. That's more of a permanent deterrent. They don't jump really high until they get hit by the electricity, and then they jump about as high as the deer do. But it's if you keep it low enough, they won't crawl under it without getting zapped, and they won't go over the top without getting zapped. So that actually works pretty well. And I think they make a kind of a mesh for chickens, and some of those electric fences, they put out just enough voltage to make you jump, but not to hurt, and so they're very humane. But they have kind of a netting version of it, so it's more of a mesh, and it's made for poultry. It's to keep the chickens from going into certain areas, so it won't hurt your chickens. It just wakes them up. It's like getting a little jolt, and it's like, ooh, I really don't want to go in that place. So it kind of works like a invisible fence for a dog. Where it just gives them just like a little zap that just after a while they realize it's not a good place to go. They're going to go somewhere else.
Of course, after they've completely demolished your corn,
then it's okay. If you
want to turn up the amperage. Yeah. We didn't say that.
Yeah, so the new versions are solar powered. So they've got a lithium battery in there. You set it up. It generates enough electricity to charge the battery for the day. And then it will
goes through the night.
It will discharge whenever it needs to, and then it'll recharge the next day if it needs to. So it's a really nice little setup, and it's not powerful enough for a damaging shock, just enough to wake everybody up, make you want to go somewhere else.
Okay, so
pretty effective.
Little tip there to get rid of the raccoons.
The raccoons, yeah. The other thing we've done with our corn is we've planted the main crop of our corn and then let that get maturing and maybe get 2 feet tall or so, and then plant more corn around the outside. And so if you do a couple of rows of corn around the exterior of your corn patch, the raccoons come in, they check it to see if it's ready. And so if it's not ready on the outside, because that's where the corn matures first, is on the outside. If the corn's not mature there, then they'll leave and they'll come back again later. But if they come and the corn is maturing at a different time than the rest of the corn in the middle of the patch, they'll leave the middle of the patch alone.
Okay.
Yeah, because they're checking the outside, and it's like, oh, the corn's not ready yet. I'll go eat those beans at
somewhere else
at Will's house.
Yeah, exactly.
And then they'll come back and check again. It's like, oh, corn's still not ready, but the corn's actually ready in the middle.
Okay.
That's actually worked pretty well as well.
So maybe plant your corn in the future in stages.
In stages, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And if it's not all coming on at once, you can fool them by having some later corn coming on around the exterior. And that actually works pretty well.
Okay.
The radio does, for sure. Live Trap's the best.
All right.
Yeah, that works. It works
few
really
tips
well.
there.
Yeah, it works really well.
Well, we'll talk about insects. We should mention, too, we were briefly talking about some of the events that will be taking place next week and the week after. But what's going on this week?
So this week on Center Street, we've got next Saturday. And what day is that? That is the 16th.
Mm-hmm.
The 16th of September, we've got the Top of Utah Marathon. And that will start early also. Do they start at 7? I think they start at 6:30 or 7.
They start at, 6:30 or 7 o'clock.
And so that'll be going on downtown. And as soon as the marathon's over, as soon as the last marathoner comes through at like 2:30.
Yeah, usually around 2:33.
Or so. Then there's the Latino Festival, which is sponsored by the Cache Valley Media Group. So,
our sister station, Juan FM's putting that together. And the first year they wanted to do this, we thought, it's great. No one else has done anything like this.
Yeah.
And we thought, we'll see. Maybe it'll be big enough that we could do it another year.
Yeah.
And every year has just gotten
it gets bigger.
Bigger and
it
bigger.
gets bigger. It's such a fun party. And since we're on Center Street at Anderson Seed and Garden, it's happening right out in front of it's on our front porch, basically.
Yeah.
And the colors and the enthusiasm, and it's just really fun.
Yeah.
It's really fun. It's kind of refreshing to see so much excitement happening right out there on the street. So they're going to close off Center Street. There'll be a party. There'll be music. There'll be food. I'm sure they'll have vendors there as well, too.
A lot of food trucks that are coming in for this.
You might get a pretty good taco there that day. You just might. Yeah, your chances are pretty good. But I'll tell you, the last 2 years, it has been such a fun event to have right there in front of Anderson's on Center Street.
The parade, and then a lot of the dances they'll have set up in the entertainment on the stage.
Yeah.
A lot of fun. That's going to be coming up next week. And then the week after
is the Giant Pumpkin Festival. So the Center Street Giant Pumpkin Festival is the 23rd of September. It will start at 11 o'clock, which is about the same time that the city's going to be doing the ribbon cutting for the new plaza there on Center Block. But at the same time, we've got the Gardener's Market going, which is over at the county kind of courthouse. Yep, so we got the Gardener's Market at the county courthouse, ribbon cutting at the plaza, which has the splash pad, and there'll be ice skating there during the winter time, and a nice amphitheater for some live productions and different things there. So the ribbon cutting's at 11 o'clock, and then the Giant Pumpkin Festival starts at 11, and we'll be weighing off. First up, I think we have our kids, our kids event. So it'll be like kids pumpkins, and then they'll be doing a whole bunch of large vegetables. So I think there's like prizes for the biggest tomato, for the largest gourd, for the biggest watermelon. So they'll be doing some other categories as well too, and then they'll start with the really big pumpkins. And it sounds like they've got some 12 to 15 to 1,800 pound pumpkins coming in.
Some monsters?
Some really big ones.
Nice.
Yeah, so this will be really cool. So they'll be on display so you can see lots of activities for the kids, vendors, food, movies, free movies at the Utah Theater. The beer garden that the Prodigy's putting together will be great. Family friendly for sure. And just a really great time. There'll be photos going on. There'll be activities. We'll be crowning the Center Street Giant, which will be the biggest pumpkin in the Intermountain West. And should be a blast. Live music afterwards.
Yeah.
Little Barefoot's going to be performing at about 5 o'clock until 7. Yeah, so should be a really good time.
Great.
Yeah, lots of fun.
We'll talk more about that coming up as we approach the bottom of the hour. You're listening to The Garden Guide here on KVNU.
Bill Walter, KBNU News. A 36-year-old man was arrested after allegedly threatening his family with a gun, according to deputies. Victor Michael Shavira was booked into the Cache County Jail Thursday night after SWAT teams stormed his home. Cache County Sheriff's Lieutenant Tim Ramirez said deputies were originally called to a Nibley residence on Wednesday on report of Shavira making threats to shoot himself and family members. He reportedly had a semi-automatic handgun that he was waving around. Ramirez explained the deputies were able to remove the family members from the home and ensure their safety. They then began attempting to negotiate with Shavira by phone. Due to the suspect's escalating behavior and statements, Ramirez said it was deemed necessary to call in the Cache Logan SWAT team. Shavira, according to family members, was heavily intoxicated. In an effort to de-escalate the situation, Ramirez explained that the SWAT team stood down, but detectives continued surveillance on the home overnight and Thursday. He allegedly continued making threats of violence and refused to surrender, so SWAT teams were redeployed and took Shavira safely into custody after a high-risk search warrant was served on the home. A Republican member of the Utah Senate said Thursday he will resign to focus on his career and providing for his family. Senator Jake Anderegg, Republican from Lehigh, said in a resignation letter that due to a significant change in his employment at the beginning of this year, it was becoming more difficult to balance serving in the legislature. Anderegg said he will step down effective October 15th. Pretty nice weekend ahead of us. Sunny skies, clear at night, highs in the 80s, lows in the low 50s. For the latest news, visit CacheValleyDaily.com.
From ABC Sports, I'm Mark Remillard. Carlos Alcaraz was looking to get back into the finals at the U.S. Open tournament that he won last year, but Daniil Medvedev would have none of it. Medvedev jumped out to a two-set lead, winning 7-6 and 6-1 before dropping the third 6-3. In the fourth, he closed it out with a 6-3 set post-match.
I managed to play well. I managed to serve well, hit some lines in important moments, some great shots. So just really happy, but the tournament is not over.
And his opponent will be none other than the great Novak Djokovic, who ousted 20-year-old American Ben Shelton in straight sets. After the win, Djokovic spoke about taking Shelton's victory taunt.
I just love Ben's celebration. I thought it was very original, and I copied him. I stole his celebration.
Later on today will be the women's final as Coco Gauff looks to capture her first U.S. Open title. This is ABC Sports.
September is National Honey Month, and to celebrate, Cox Honeyland has local Cache Valley honey on sale. 12 pounds is $40, or 24 pounds is $77. Bring in your own jar. It's only $3.50 per pound, and it's also time for a summer clearance sale at Cox Honeyland. Save 50% off all summer merchandise, including the spinners. Their fun gift store is full of decor, treats, and more. That's Cox Honeyland and Gifts, 78 South, Highway 89, Logan.
Are you concerned about the state of our national security, open borders, the looming China threat, the strain on our munition supply due to the war in Ukraine? Does low military recruitment mean a mandatory draft is imminent? These issues affect all of us, but particularly if you have children. Come listen to a true expert, David Pine, shed light on these topics. David serves as a deputy director of the EMP Task Force, a congressional advisory board, this Thursday the 14th at 6:30 p.m. at the Old Courthouse in Logan at 200 North Main. This event is free and open to everyone.
The semi-annual Napa Gold Filter Sale is on now through September 15. You can't beat Napa prices on diesel oils, and more truckloads are on the way. Chevron Delo 15W40, $14.99 a gallon. Valvoline Premium Blue Diesel Oils, 5W40 Synthetic, $23.99 a gallon. 15W40, only $16.99 a gallon. Napa Premium 15W40 Diesel Oil, $12.99 a gallon. Price is good while supplies last. Cash or card only, and no delivery at these prices. Sale ends September 15 at your 5 locally owned Preston to Providence Napa Auto Parts.
He won't come. He's too busy.
Jenny, of course he'll come.
Happy birthday!
Dad!
I know. You guys didn't think I'd make it, but come on. Could I really miss my son's birthday? Here you go, Dan.
Thanks, Dad. But today's Jenny's birthday.
Give me that. Happy birthday, Jenny!
Need to get closer to your family?
Nice football, Dad.
Give your family everything. Give them your time. From the Church of Jesus Christ of Latter-day Saints.
Work, school,
grocery shopping, doctor's appointments, the gym, to the airport to pick up loved ones, to the kids' soccer games, piano lessons, out for movie night, to hear your favorite band in the city, over to Grandma and Grandpa's house, and on last year's amazing road trip. Your vehicle takes you so many places. Protect it. When you leave your vehicle, remember to always take your keys or key fob with you and lock the doors. If you suspect auto theft, contact the National Insurance Crime Bureau at 1-800-TEL-NICB. That's 1-800-TEL-NICB, or visit our website at www.nicb.org. A public service message from the National Insurance Crime Bureau.
From gardening to landscaping, it's the Garden Guide on News Talk KVNU, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.
Welcome back to the Garden Guide on this Saturday morning. Will Feel-Right along with Mark Anderson of Anderson Seed and Garden, talking all things garden. And, you know, we finished off the last segment, Mark. We were talking about the Giant Pumpkin Festival that's coming up.
Yeah.
A lot of businesses coming together to put this on.
Yes, absolutely. So not only are Anderson Seed and Garden sponsoring it, but Cache Valley Bank has stepped up and really, really helped with our festival. So they're a great partner to work with. And, of course, Cache Valley Bank's right there on Center Street as well,
your
too.
Neighbor.
So they have been an amazing sponsor to help with our event. But a lot of businesses there on Center Street are all stepping up and helping out. So we've got a great list of sponsors and awesome committee that has really helped us put the whole project together. So we'll have story time from Logan City Library, so they'll be there doing stories. Utah Theater's doing free movies. So every bottom of the hour they'll be showing it's Great Pumpkin, Charlie Brown.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah. And then at 5 o'clock, they're actually going to show A Nightmare Before Christmas.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, so at 5 o'clock, Nightmare Before Christmas, the full version. So it's like an hour and 20 minutes or so. But then that's kind of when the live music starts outside as well, too. So if you want to watch the movie, you go do the movie. Or you can stay and watch live music and listen to live music and dance or whatever. Prodigy's doing a beer garden, but they'll have other drinks as well too. They'll have root beer and they'll have a bunch of different things. So this will be a great place to go and get some refreshment. There'll be food all over the place. It should be a really, really fun time and lots of kids' activities. We have a scavenger hunt that's going on, and if you complete the scavenger hunt, you are entered to win a really, really great grand prize from all the businesses that are participating in the scavenger hunt. So it should be a grand prize of about 15 to 20 really nice prizes from all the businesses that are participating. So it should be fun. Yeah.
2 weeks from now.
2 weeks from
23rd.
Today. Yeah, the 23rd of September. All kinds of fun. Center Street Giant. You will get to come and see the biggest pumpkins grown in the Intermountain West this year. Like the biggest pumpkins, yeah.
Great. And along with that, there's going to be a chance to vote for People's Choice?
Yes. So when you come and you check out the pumpkins, and there's going to be probably 15 to 25 really large pumpkins, you'll be able to pick your favorite one. And so not only will you get to see the big pumpkins, but you get to participate in the vote as well, too, and do the scavenger hunt, and hopefully go get a movie. But it is also a kind of a fundraiser for the Cache Food Pantry. So admission is free. It does not cost you anything to come to the Pumpkin Festival, come participate. But if you can, bring a non-perishable food item or 2 or 4 or 10, and Food Pantry will be there to collect some food as well, too. So fall's a good time to think about harvest, and it's a great time to give a little bit back to the Food Pantry as well, too. So Food Pantry is getting all the donations for the Giant Pumpkin Festival.
Okay.
So, yeah. So it's all going to the Cache Food Pantry. So.
All right. Plus, also, today at Anderson Seed and Garden, Cash and Carry Sale.
Cash and Carry Sale, still going on. 50% off all of our remaining trees, flowering trees, shrubs, evergreens, vines, and if you pay with cash, you get an extra 10% discount, so I'll give you the full 50% off. If you decide to pay with a check or a credit card or a debit card, you get 40% off. So it's really 40% off, but if you pay with cash, you get that extra 10%, and it becomes 50% off. I still have some really nice plants. I got some good-looking stuff. And then all of our new fruit trees that just came in a few weeks ago, those are still cash and carry, but it's 25% instead of the 50.
Okay.
Since they are brand new and they came in, I just couldn't discount them the full 50. We got to make a little bit of money on them, but beautiful. The trees are beautiful. They're big.
Oh, yeah.
They're 6 to 7 feet tall. Some of them have fruit on them already. Really nice big trees. Actually had a couple in from Oregon the other day. And my trees are grown in Oregon, so they grew those trees for us in Oregon. And they looked at the trees. The store? Yeah, they came by the store, and they're like, oh, your trees are beautiful. Look at the price. It's like, because we're selling them for like $90. Yeah. And they're like, in Oregon, these trees, they would sell for $150. And I was like, really? And they're like, yeah. It's like, I couldn't get anything this size for less than $150 in Oregon. I'll take 5, because then they were 25% off of that. And so they were so excited that they were going to buy the trees that I had grown in Oregon. They shipped down to us. They're going to throw them in their truck
and take them back
to Oregon because they couldn't get them for that kind of price up there. So not only are they a great price to start off with, you get an extra 25% off if you pay with cash. Yeah, so not so bad. I was really surprised. I was really surprised.
Wow.
So they're right from that Portland, Oregon area, which is right where the trees were grown for us. And they're just like, we can't find a tree like this for less than $150, and you're selling them for $90, and you're giving me 25% off. I'm taking 5.
Yeah. Peach and apricot tree that we planted.
They look so good. Yeah, they look really good. And now's a really great time to plant any types of trees and shrubs and fruit trees. It's weather's cooling down, soil's retaining the moisture. We're getting periodic rainstorms. Yeah, the soil's just like perfect for it right now, and it's not going to get hotter.
And you were telling me a week ago that I should prune our tree back just a little bit.
Yeah, just a little bit.
Yeah. And amazing what a difference that made.
Yeah.
Just took about 3 limbs off each tree.
Right.
And you know how when you first plant something and it's put in a new area,
new location,
the leaves start to wilt up a little bit and they just get a little soft. As soon as we pruned it, that thing just took right off.
Yeah. When you take them out of the pot and you put them in the new hole that you just dug for them, you're always going to do a little bit of damage to the root system. And when you do that little bit of damage to the root system, it is now no longer capable to pick up the water and nutrient that it was previously.
Before.
Yeah. And so it has produced all these branches and all these leaves and now it can't pick up the water that it was picking up before. And so some of that tree is going to wilt and look bad because it just can't possibly pick up the water and nutrient it was before. So if you preemptively prune off 20 to 30% of the tree, and there's always extra growth on there that is just excess growth that you don't need. So you can pick a couple branches that are redundant or some of the lower branches that just need to come off because you don't want to branch 2 feet off the ground and just trim those branches up on the trunk and then kind of thin things out a little bit. And all of a sudden you're going, oh yeah, I already took 20 or 30% off. Your tree will recover from the transplant so much better. Yeah. It just doesn't wilt. It just doesn't struggle. It just doesn't have that transplant shock or stress that you get. And you will be way more successful.
And I was surprised how quick the turnaround was. I mean, overnight.
Yeah.
It just all of a sudden, wow.
Instead of having to put water and nutrient out through those branches that you just took off, now it can conserve those and send them somewhere else. And it just keeps the rest of your tree from wilting and looking sad. So it's hard to do with like some perennial plants, flowers and things. You can't prune those back really heavy when you're transplanting them because they look so good. You don't want to do it. But trees and shrubs, you can really give them a little bit of a haircut, and what a difference it makes when you're transplanting. Much, much better. Yeah.
All right. So great time to plant. We were talking earlier about if there is anything we can do after the hailstorm that we had a week ago, and we were talking harvesting, but we should also talk about bulbs too.
Yes. So tulip bulbs, daffodils, hyacinths, crocus, allium, and a lot of other bulbs are showing up this week. So we've got bulbs showing up. Usually it's the week right after Labor Day, and Labor Day was really early this year. So generally around the 10th, 12th, 15th of September, that's when all our fall bulbs show up. And you can really plant those fall bulbs anytime from now until the ground freezes, sometime in November or early December. So we've got a couple months to plant bulbs. Great time to be outside. Soil's nice and moist. Great time to pull all those weeds in our flower beds.
Yep.
So there's
Clear 'em
tons of
out.
weeds. Yeah, tons of weeds. But perfect time to get bulbs and start planting those. Last year we had, I think, 70 different kinds of tulips. And I have about the same amount coming this year. And we had probably 15 or 20 different kinds of daffodils and about 10 different kinds of hyacinths and 5 or 6 different alliums and just so many bulbs to choose from. And the best thing about bulbs is you don't have to be a great gardener to be successful with them. They're really, really easy to plant.
You know, and when we've had Hank
Stoofbergen. Yeah, it's Hank Stoofbergen. Yep.
And he talks about just how easy they are.
Yep.
And he's given us a few tips over the years where you can just take some of your lawn clippings, maybe some leaves that have already fallen off, put that down with those bulbs. Really helps them take off.
You know, bulbs are one of those things where you say, I have a black thumb, I can't really get anything to grow. And with the tulips and daffodils and all your fall planted bulbs, all you have to do is dig the hole, put a little fertilizer down in there, drop the bulbs in, cover them up, water them. Mother Nature takes care of the rest. It's so easy. And this coming week, I'm doing a class at the Cache. What is it? The Event Center?
Oh yeah,
at the Event Center down at
Part
the
of the
fairgrounds, and it's for the Cache County. It's for the Cache Gardeners Club, and it's at 6:00. And I'll be doing a class. And the first part of the class, they asked me to kind of talk about our story at Anderson's, you know, how Anderson's kind of came about and how my wife and I ended up taking over and all the changes that we've made. But then after that, we're going to be doing a class on how to do bulbs. So we'll talk about how to plant bulbs, how to be successful with bulbs, maybe even how to force bulbs. If we have enough time, we'll talk about forcing bulbs inside so you can enjoy them right around the holidays. You know, usually they're ready right after the holidays to bring out and have them flower and enjoy. So we'll be doing a class on Wednesday, the 13th at 6:00 at the Event Center, and it's going to be all about bulbs.
All right.
And a little bit about me.
Okay,
a
so
little bit about me.
If you are going to be around Wednesday night over at the Event Center,
I don't think the Garden Club would kick you out if you showed up and you weren't a member of the club.
Okay.
I don't think there's any restrictions about you having to be a member of the club. They may try and enlist you in the club. That is a possibility. They might recruit you into the club. But other than that, bulbs so easy. And like I said, it is as easy as dig your hole, fertilizer in the bottom, drop the bulbs in, cover them up, water them. Done. That easy. And garlic is just about as easy as well, too.
And you mentioned that garlic has been coming in.
Yeah, tons of garlic's coming in. I think we've got like 18 varieties of garlic this year. And with the garlic, there's soft neck and there's hard neck varieties. And the big difference between the soft necks and the hard necks is the soft necks will keep longer. So they're longer keeping type garlic. And in most cases, you can keep them 4 to 6 months. Some varieties will last even longer, like most of the winter. Some varieties will last up to 8 months without deteriorating. But they have really, really rich, good flavor on most of those soft necks. Some are really, really mild. So if you like a more potent, rich flavor, usually we'll say plant the hard necks instead. And the hard necks have a harder stem where the leaves come up, and the soft necks are easy to like braid because they don't have that hard stem in them.
Okay.
But the hard necks don't keep quite as well, so they're going to be like more like 3 to 4 months they'll keep, but really rich, good flavors. Yeah, amazing flavors. My favorites would have to be Susan Delafield, Chestnut Red, probably German Red, and I really like Music. Too. Music was spelled with a K, not with a C. Music, yeah.
Okay.
Awesome flavors. You can roast them, you can smoke them, you can just do all kinds of different things with them, and the flavors are just amazing.
Are they more of a sweet flavor, or are they sharp?
A little more spicy, so a little sharper, a little more heat, but just that good, rich, garlic flavor.
Taste.
Yeah. And there's just some of them we can just take them and drizzle olive oil on them and just throw them in the oven and roast them, and it comes out like this just smooth garlic paste. And
really really good.
So delicious, yeah. But then you kind of smell like garlic for a couple days afterwards. But it keeps the werewolves away,
That's
and
right.
the vampires, which, we're kind of in that area.
Now,
It's
is there
funny, yeah.
anything we can do to keep the mosquitoes and grasshoppers away?
I don't think the mosquitoes like the garlic. If you smell a lot like garlic, I think you'll be less likely to have the mosquitoes as well too. But yes, the cedar oil, it really does work great on garlic. And I was at a trade show this week down in Salt Lake, and it was a garden trade show, and I had multiple people come up to me, that were like, I never knew you could use the cedar oil to keep the grasshoppers away. They're like, I've used it for mosquitoes, but I've never had it. And they're like, I tried it this year, and it is genius. They're like, that is the greatest thing I've ever done.
Cedar oil,
yeah. So they're like, I sprayed, knocked off the grasshoppers, but then, they would just come back like a week or 10 days later. And then they're like, I heard about the cedar oil granules, like the Mosquito Go that we use for the mosquitoes. And he's like, I heard that you guys do that. And I did it, and I didn't have grasshoppers back for like a month. And then they came back. I was like, yeah, because the cedar oil like wore out after a month. But I mean, multiple people stopped me at the show. They're like, you're Mark Anderson from up in Logan, right? And it's like, yeah. And they're like, I heard from, so-and-so that you could do this, and I did it, and it was like the best thing I've ever done. Like, grasshoppers are crazy. So people outside the valley are hearing about it now too. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, it works
great way to at least try to keep them out for a couple of weeks.
The grasshoppers have declined. They're not as bad as they were a month ago, for sure. But there's still a bunch of them out there.
And unfortunately, they will be coming back.
They're reproducing right now like crazy, and so they're going to be laying a lot of eggs. If they lay eggs in your garden, that is just fine. Let them do it, because you're going to till this fall, and it's going to bust up those eggs, and they're not going to hatch. It's when they lay their eggs in the vacant lot next door or the field out back that's not going to get turned over until next year. That's where all the population's going to be, and that's where it's going to come from. So if they're laying eggs in your garden, just don't worry about it. It's okay, because we're going to till that up. It's going to break those up, and you're just going to have a minimal hatch. But it's in those locations that don't get turned over, which is where the huge, massive population comes from. Yeah, so don't stress it. It's unfortunately in those areas adjacent to our properties where like our garden is. So, yeah, that's what's happening.
Now, with the moisture that we've gotten, a lot of people, we did this, turned off the sprinklers for a couple of days.
Absolutely, yeah.
Because, boy, you really didn't need it after getting an inch of rain.
When you get an inch of rain, you can basically turn your sprinklers off for a week. Yeah. So when every time we get an inch of rain, that's a week's worth of water. And as the temperatures are starting to cool down in September, it's actually a little bit more than a week. So we got that storm on Sunday, Monday. We turned our sprinklers off the minute we got home on Monday, and I won't turn them on again until probably Tuesday, Monday, Tuesday of next week. Yeah, because we got that inch of rain. The grass is not going to stress in just that many days. It's cooler at night. If you leave your grass a little bit taller, it won't dry out so fast. So there have been multiple times this year, like during the summer, where we just turned our sprinklers off for a week. Because we'd get an inch of rain. We got that a couple times in July. We got it a couple times in August. And we just basically just turn our sprinklers off.
Shut them off.
Yeah, and then it's like, oh, yeah, we got to turn those back on. It's been really, really nice. I'll bet we used half the water this year that we did last year to keep our lawn looking good, because there was just that many weeks. I mean, June. Think about June. I mean, we didn't have to turn our sprinklers on in June. It just kept raining. Yeah, it kept raining, and then we had those really good storms in July and some really good storms in August. And there's half the summer that we didn't have to water. Yeah. We just didn't have to water, which is a great blessing after last year. Yeah.
Even with the hail that came down with the rain.
We don't talk about that. Yeah, we don't talk about that anymore.
Well,
and
now,
we're not going to say the S word at least until December.
Let's hope we can enjoy a few more days like this. It's almost like Mother Nature says, "I'm sorry for what happened on Labor Day. I'm going to make it up this weekend."
This week, yeah. We're going to do our White Christmas giveaway again this year, but we're not going to say the S word until at least December.
Yeah.
because we've had enough of that for 1 year.
Maybe once the Christmas open house comes and it gets us back into the spirit of things, maybe then.
Yeah, I'll think about it.
Well, we've got 2 minutes left, and we want to mention again cash and carry sale going on this week at Anderson's.
Yep. And so it's 40% off our remaining trees, flowering trees, shrubs, evergreens, vines, all those plants we have left over out in the nursery, 40% off. But if you pay with cash, so if you use the green stuff, pay with cash, 50% off. You get an extra 10% off discount. And I've had people show up with their trucks and with their trailers and take a whole truck full. Take a trailer full, because it's a really great price. If you're doing any landscaping, we've got some really nice looking plants still. And the only thing that's not 50% off is like our burning bush we just got in, and those fruit trees we got in a couple weeks ago.
Fruit trees.
But the fruit trees are still 25% off, so we're still going to give you 25% off with the cash sale. And Pumpkin Fest is coming up the 23rd of September. Cache Valley Bank, Anderson Seed and Garden, title sponsors. The biggest pumpkins in the Intermountain West are going to show up. We're going to be vying for the title of Center Street Giant. And the winner gets a heavyweight champion belt.
Nice.
For the center. It's so cool. It is so cool. Heavyweight champion of the Intermountain West. Center Street Giant is the title of the pumpkin that wins this year. It'll be so much fun. There's so much stuff going on that weekend right downtown in Logan. You got to come and just check it out. Yeah, lots of fun.
Yeah, we've decided we're going to be doing the show.
Yeah,
there.
We will be doing the show
that morning.
Yes,
kind of getting everything
it should
ready.
Be fun. It's even better because we're going to have to do the show, and I'm not going to have to do the work to set things up.
To set it up,
yeah, because we'll be doing the show instead. Yeah,
well, we hope you join us again next week, as of course we'll be talking about the Latino Festival that'll be going on down there.
Yeah, so much fun
next week.
Yeah, tons happening this fall downtown. Yeah. So much fun. Come have fun with us.
Well, thanks for joining us for the Garden Guide here on KVNU.
What makes essential workers essential?
We build safe roads for you to drive on.
We harvest fresh produce for your families to eat.
We help you heal when you're sick.
We get you where you need to go.
We keep where you work and live clean and safe.
We make sure you get what you need to make your household work.
You're the essential workers who help our nation run. You're in every city, town, and corner of our country, and you come from all over the globe. And you have essential protections under the law. I'm Marty Walsh. The Wage and Hour Division at the Department of Labor helps ensure you receive the essential protections you deserve. If you have questions about your pay or about your job protection during an illness, visit our website or call 866-4US-WAGE. That's 866-487-9243. We can provide help in more than 200 languages.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Labor.
Reach the Sheriff's Department Civil Processing Division. Please hold while your call is transferred to Sergeant David Chapman. Deputy, record.
This is Sheriff Chad Jensen. Fraudulent phone calls similar to this one have been received by many citizens in Cache County. The most common scams are asking for payment over the phone because of a lawsuit, civil bench warrant, or to post bail for a family member who has supposedly been arrested. They ask for payment in form of prepaid cards, gift cards, or money transfers, and if you do not pay, they threaten to arrest you. The Sheriff's Office does not take payment or ask for personal information over the phone. These types of scams often use internet phone numbers which are nearly impossible to track. If you receive a phone call of this nature, do not give out any personal information and hang up. Be cautious about the information you give out over the phone to make sure you are not the next victim of a scam.
What makes essential workers essential?
We keep where you work and live clean and safe.
We harvest fresh produce for your families to eat.
We help you heal when you're sick.
Essential workers help our nation run. You're in every corner of our country and come from all over the globe. I'm Marty Walsh. The Wage and Hour Division at the Department of Labor helps ensure you receive the essential protections you deserve. Visit our website or call 866-4US-WAGE.
Brought to you by the United States Department of Labor.
Know about it. Talk about it.
This nation belongs to all of us.
News Talk KVNU Logan, 610 AM and 102.1 FM.